Hello viewers, you're welcome to this tutorial. Now in continuing our course, we want to understand how to manipulate data types and how to deal with each and every data type. Okay, so let's try to, now Python works basically like a calculator, so we can add every value we want to add, 12 plus 23, and when we run the code we have a value here, and maybe 12 times 23, we also have a value 12 minus 23, 12 divided by 23. So any other thing we want to do with addition, subtraction with any number is possible. Okay, and we can add an int value to a float value, meaning a decimal value, so it gives us this. All right, 12 divided by this gives us this answer. Okay, so this is not the only thing we can do with integers. There are so many things we can do with them. Now 12 divided by 23 gives us this value. This is a float value, a decimal value. But if we want to attain only the first value, now only the first one, we are not running it to the nearest whole number, we just want to get the first value out of this decimal value. Okay, so what we have to do is type in print and bring 12 two forward slashes and say 23. So what this does is the two forward slash means I only want the first value. Don't run it to the nearest whole number, just give me the first value. So if you run this code, it gives us 0, but we know that running to the nearest whole number should be 1 instead of 0. Okay, so this is the value we have. So if you want to run it to the nearest whole number, we use the built-in function called a round function. So let's bring our print statement, and inside the print statement we type round. Okay, and inside the round we say 12 divided by 23. Now make sure you don't do this mistake. Don't bring two forward slashes in front of it. We are just dividing, and out of the division we want to run it to the nearest whole number. So we run it and it gives us 1. So this function rounds any float value or any decimal value to the nearest whole number. Alright, so let's continue. Now this round function doesn't allow us to round to 3 decimal places, 4 decimal places, and 5 decimal places, but you will definitely need to do that one day. So there are two built-in functions, okay, for rounding values. So the next one, now there's a difference among them. Let's see, 12 divided by 23, and we bring dot round. Now what's the difference? This one comes before the value and this round comes after the value. So this round takes to the nearest whole number. It's a built-in function, but this round is a built-in method for float values. Okay, it is for float values. It allows us to get decimal values after the decimal. Okay, after the dot operator, it allows us to get value. So 12 divided by 3, we want to round it to 3 decimal places. All right, so let's round it and see. So we have 0.522. So that is how this works. The round works different from this round. So if you're developing a software and you want to deal with the nearest whole number, you basically have to do this. If you want to deal with decimal places 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to use this. So if you even say I want 0 decimal places, it will still bring dot 0, okay, because it's kind of a float built-in function. Alright, so this is how to be manipulating integer with float data types, and let's also learn how to manipulate string data types. Okay, so this is basically a string. We have hello world. Okay, so if you print hello world, this is the outcome, but there are several things we want to do with this hello world. We want to print hello world in uppercase letters, so we say print hello world. Alright, let's see, dot upper. Okay, remember to bring your brackets. Remember to bring the dot upper after the quotation mark, after the single quotation or double quotation mark. Alright, so let's run this code to see. We have everything in an uppercase. So this is also a string built-in method where we can navigate through our string and make everything an uppercase. So let's make all of them lowercase as well. So we have hello world dot lower. Alright, so the dot lower will make everything a lowercase letter. So this is it, everything becomes a lowercase letter. Now there are two other cases we could learn. Let's see. So print, and we have hello world. Sorry. Okay, we have dot swap. So what a swap case does is any uppercase letter becomes a lower, and any lowercase letter becomes an uppercase. So H and W will become what? A lower, and the rest of them will just become upper. A swap case, so it kind of swaps it. Alright, so this is what we have here. So let's try the final one, which is print. Now there are more of them, but for tutorial sake, so hello world. We have dot capitalize. So what capitalize does is it only makes the first letter within all the sentence, only the first letter becomes capitalized. Any one among them which is capitalized, like this one, would definitely be a small one. So if you're writing something and you only want to make the first letter capital, I think the capitalize will be so good, especially when you're receiving user inputs and dealing with a whole lot of manipulation. These things will be really needed. So let's run it and see. Okay, so you see only the H becomes the capital, the rest of them are just small. So this is one of the things where you will need when you're receiving user input. Now there will be a module where I think this is it, receiving user input. So there are fewer modules for us to cover. Let's hook up with this tutorial. If you have any question, just leave it in the chat box. Remember to subscribe and ring that bell to receive more updates. So thank you for viewing and you're welcome.